Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday night, and believe it or not, your favorite show on YouTube, the Bama Standard, is starting on time. Well, actually, 2 minutes early. But before we do anything, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Get in the live. I want y'all to be rowdy tonight because we are going to give you every reason to do that. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section, leave us some love there. As always, we're brought to you by Workspace Solutions. I'm your host, Justin Riley, and with me is kind of a makeshift crew. The Honorable Senior Analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith. And from the final whistle, one of the most electrifying men in all of Alabama entertainment and gaming, Senator Coach Smook Hines. Fellas, welcome in. Welcome in. And for those of you who are watching, Marvin Constant, or Malibu Marvin Constant, as we call him, is on vacation in Belize. And we'll be joined later on by Steve Brown. What's going on, fellas?
Going good, man. Going good. It's a good Tuesday, man, to be here. It's a lot to get into, talk about. I mean, personally, I was kind of saddened that Coach Jackson did not get the nod for Alabama men's baseball, but Rob Vaughn, former Maryland head coach, did get the nod. It was announced today, so that's interesting. It was good to see my guy, Herb Jones, back in his hometown of Greensburg, giving back to the community, helping out all those kids. So big ups to Herb, man.
Absolutely. But listen, speaking of coaching, we got one here in our midst today that was one of the finest men to ever do it, and Bryant Denny. But to bring him in properly, there's only one man who can do that, and that's Stephen M. Smith. Stephen, if you would introduce our guest.
I mean, he is one of the founding fathers of how to be a receiver in college football, especially in Alabama football. When you talk about not just the hands to be a receiver, not just the routes to be the receiver, but the toughness to be the receiver as well. And a guy that not only speaks, not only talks the game, walks the game, plays the game the way it should be played, the way it's supposed to be played. And now he's transformed that to now coaching the game as he's right now driving to find the next five-star recruit. We got my man Antonio A.C. Carter in the building, but we're also joined by the star of the show, the legendary comic Steve Brown.
Hey man, I'm just so happy to be here, man. And no, I know y'all didn't think I was gonna make it, but I'm here, and it's a great day for the Bama Standard because Marvin Constant is not with us.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
How you let that happen?
Huh?
How you let that happen?
But let me tell you something, man. Marvin, I'm gonna let Marvin be great, but what y'all don't know, y'all think Marvin is out of the country. No, he's not. He is actually in Jonesboro, Georgia, at a lake. Don't let him fool you. Do not let him fool you. So Marvin, yeah. So that's what it is. But hey, man, I like this new setup, man. Can we make it permanent? Can we? No, we can't.
I think we can.
Like that.
We gotta keep Uncle Marvin, man. We gotta keep Uncle Marvin, man.
Right.
Come on, dog. Come on, man.
Hey, no, man. I love Marvin to death. He's a great guy, man. And actually, I'm gonna miss picking on him.
I'm gonna miss seeing y'all get at each other.
That's okay because Stephen M. Smith is your plan B, right? He comes off the bench for Marvin to fill in, so we shouldn't skip a beat, I don't think.
Yeah, we should.
But listen, why we have our guest on tonight is to celebrate this man. Just got the big promotion to Florida A&M University.
The Rattlers.
AC, the Rattlers. Take over the SWAC. Man, we are so excited, brother. First of all, congratulations on the new job, brother.
Man, thank you so much, Jess, man. It's a blessing, I tell you that. I'm just thankful for Coach Shade, another brother of mine, for giving me the opportunity to get back in it last year. And God always say you do the right things and stay the course, that blessing's gonna come forth if you just do what you're supposed to do. And I was blessed with the opportunity to come back home. Coach Willis Simmons, the head coach at Florida A&M, is not just a great head coach. He's a brother of mine. Been knowing him a long time. So for him to make that call, I tell everybody I've cried twice dealing with this guy. And one time is when he beat me my senior year in high school. And then when he made that phone call to bring me back home, man, it was just a blessing. Super excited.
That's what it is, man. Them Rattlers. Yeah, that's gonna be something, bro. So look, AC, since you down there, man, can you get coach to let me come down there and speak to the kids, man? I want to say something motivating, like something like wherever you go in life, that's where you're gonna be. Stuff like that.
Hey, Steve, you know what? I'm gonna put that on my checklist. I run it by.
Yeah, let that happen, man. Let that happen. Yeah.
Now, do you get to direct the band at all? Do you have any say-so in what the halftime performance?
I don't have any say-so at all. Hey, my only say-so I got is make sure the receivers can line up, can catch, and play with great effort. That's it.
Speaking of great effort, AC, one of the things I mentioned before we got on air was how excited I was about you being back in coaching, and how I wish that I could be on the sideline with you. I actually got an example of that from a previous show you did, and I hope that you're going to incorporate what you do here and you're coaching now. I'm going to play that real quick for the audience. Well, never mind. It didn't work. But listen, this
Hold on.
Yep. We're going to talk to our HR department about that.
Justin, why was it in that clip I look like I was high? Like real high?
That's it.
Well, you always high. You always high.
And this is your intervention, Stephen.
Yeah.
We got Pastor AC in the room tonight.
But AC, first of all, how did this come about? For a while back, you were away from the coaching game. You were helping your wife with her business. And then you got the call from Coach Shade, and you got back in at Miles College. Now you're over at Florida A&M. Can you kind of talk to us about how this came about? Boost mobile, Steve.
Man, he's so happy he froze.
Well,
there
are you there, AC?
I'm there. I'm back, Steve.
He's
All
back.
right, so Justin had a question for you. Go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was asking. You stepped away from the coaching game for a minute, to help out, with your wife and her business. Then Coach Shade brought you back. And then now you're with Florida A&M. Can you kind of run down real quick how that all happened? And before you answer that, we have via satellite from the beach, Malibu Marvin.
Oh my God!
What's up, big bro?
Well,
I told you he was here in Jonesboro.
Think about over there.
Well, to answer your question, Justin, man, again, I had stepped away from coaching, just personally to get myself together. Man, it was a great time. I would tell you that was the best year of my life. I was able to mature a little bit, just spend more time bonding, and also COVID as well. So I was able to just be with my family and just get that nurturing that I needed from my wife, spend more time just developing personally. And so that was monumental time for me. And through that, I got into motivational speaking, just telling my story, the ups, the downs, the pluses. And so through that, again, Coach Shade and I began to get closer, just talking through him coming through the bakery and spending time talking. I knew he had got the Pinson Valley head high school job, and he called me that when he got that opportunity. But I wasn't quite ready, and I didn't really want to get back into high school ball. Then he got the Miles opportunity. So, again, that relationship, and that's what this business is about, relationships. And so he called me, and I jumped on it. I love coaching. I love developing young people. It's a big part of what makes me go. It's just helping others, pouring into others, that discipleship. So that was very, very important for me. And hey, that was a success. And God opened other doors. for me to come home to Florida A&M when Coach Simmons give me this opportunity to come back home to Tallahassee. It's home for me. So, I mean, it don't get any better than that. I get mama cooking as well. So I get the best of both worlds. I'm home around family. I'm getting to work for a great head coach, tremendous staff. These guys have welcomed me with open arms. So, man, it's been a blessing.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And you know, you're not, and another thing, you know, you're not going to get in any type of trouble down in Tallahassee because it ain't nothing down there. But listen,
hey man, I tell you, man, Tallahassee a big bright light, Steve.
it is, man. Yeah, hey, I'm super proud of you, man. I'm happy for you, man. Couldn't happen to a better guy, man. You know.
Man, I am, man. I'm just so thankful. It's been a blessing. It has, and again, this journey it hasn't been easy, but that's what it's all about, and that's what I try to teach all of my players, my children, that life is you're gonna have adversity, you're gonna have challenges, but I'm thankful for my scars. They made me a better person. You know, I don't win changing for the world. But I tell my guys now, don't let all your experiences be through an experience. Meaning, my mom used to say, son, that stove hot, you go touch it anyway, it's gonna burn you. So that's one of the things now that I try to pour into these young men to let them know you don't have to take that same road. You know, start now doing it the right way, and great things are gonna happen for you. So
you know what? You know what? You're definitely right, man. Because you know I've heard my mom say that stove is hot. You touch it, it's gonna burn you. But nobody ever told me that these women hot and they was gonna burn you. And in college, I got. Well, never mind. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay.
You had to learn that from the Moonwinks, though.
Yeah, I had learned it.
Is that rash gone, Steve?
Yeah. So don't worry about it. I was just trying to put the two together. You know, it didn't work out.
But AC, to piggyback off of, you know, just congratulating you once again. I'm you know, I've always been an admirer of any big wide receiver that came through Alabama. That's what caused me to switch to the wide receiver side when I started playing football, and I started late. So watching guys like you and DJ and, you know, Pro Throw, and I mean just millions. I mean just guys just timing year after year. You know, I wish we could have the same energy we had then for these guys now. And I wish these guys now could, you know, had that same work ethic you guys had, because the level of athleticism has just, you guys set the standard back then. So, you know, it just kept increasing. People don't want to give us Alabama as a university as a credit for the type of wide receivers we've put out. I mean, even before the Ruggs and Judy and Smith and Julio area, we had dogs. We just didn't have a pass heavy offense. So
right.
And I think your ability to just, you know, that motivational speaking aspect, your passion for connecting with the young generation, making sure that these young men understand life, that's going to help with just having a foothold in recruiting, man. You got to think, like, I'm thinking of this, you know, on that impact side, like, you're from Tallahassee. This is going to be like a thing. You're not saying nothing you haven't lived. And I think it's gonna be great for you, man. I'm just proud, man. I'm happy for you. I when I heard the news, you know, it was big for everybody. It felt like Alabama had a promotion to me. So I'm happy for you, man.
It's gonna be great for the kids in that area too, man. It's gonna be great for the kids in there. Yeah, because they can because they can literally relate to what you're saying because you're from down there.
Yes.
So
right. And that's the whole deal, Steve. You know, I try to be transparent with them. You know, and that's the whole deal. And to be truth up front and let them know, hey guys, I'm from 3 blocks away from where our stadium and our facilities are. You know, I can walk to my aunt's house, which I do sometimes, and where I grew up at and my friends, you know. So I just, again, I try to be transparent with those young men and let them know that change is good.
Yep.
You know? Man, that's the key, transparency. That's the key, transparency. Like, I want to be transparent. I don't have on the bottoms.
I knew it was coming.
We got free community. Free community.
Man, I heard a quote and it stuck with me when I was kind of going through my situation down and out, and I was beating myself and I was reading. I had really got into reading. and I was reading a quote by John Wooten, UCLA basketball coach, and he said, "Failure is not fatal. Fatal to change might be." Failure is not fatal. Fatal to change might be, because if you don't change, you gonna fail. You're gonna make mistakes. Adversity, life gonna hit you in the face. But are you gonna get back up?
Come on.
Man, he was right there.
I was trying to send some Verizon vibes his way, man.
I mean, I was just about to pass the communion plate.
Man, what?
Hey, man. Yeah, man.
I got $7.
Hey, what was that quote again? Failure is, what is that?
Because I love mistake over and over again. Because failure is going to happen. But you got to make a fatal. Fatal to change might be.
Well, it looks like Boost Mobile is going to have to be dropped from their NIL deals over there, fans.
Yeah. hey, AC, you were saying some real stuff, and we was getting into it, and then you broke up, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
You no. Don't be sorry. You just gonna do what the coach like. Bring that back.
But I was just talking about the failure part of it, man. You're gonna make mistakes. Life is gonna hit you in the face. Things are not gonna always go your way. And again, I try to take that the ball. You know, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna drop a pass. You may lose a game, but are you gonna make the changes to make it right, to do the right thing, to get it corrected, to be better, to be successful? Or are you gonna keep doing the same things and expecting different results? It ain't happening. That's called insanity.
Insanity. Yes, sir.
You know,
hey, you know what? That same speech, you need to tell that speech to our transfer from Georgia. I'm not gonna say his name, but you need to tell that to him so maybe he can step it up. Yeah. Our transferring wide receiver from Georgia. Yeah.
I was about to say, because that other one that just got here, he
about to go off. But AC, I gotta ask you this: when your players want to know about your greatness, and I mean greatness in every sense of the word, what game are you showing them? I know you got a lot of them, but what game or clip are you going to show your players?
Can I guess?
Well, I haven't actually showed them any game clips. You know, I've kind of not much talked about myself, but if it come up, I kind of jump in the conversation. But I would say the Florida game would be the one I would want to talk about.
How ironic.
Yeah.
Which one, the first or the SEC championship game?
The first one.
Yes.
10 for 117, a touchdown.
Yep.
Hey man, I got clips. I got clips of me at that game.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hanging off the poles.
That's exactly what he was doing
with the houndstooth jacket on.
All day.
I said either that Florida game or I think it was either, was it 01 Mississippi State? Ole Miss or 2000 Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah, 12 for 160.
Yeah.
I ain't getting the paint. All his stats.
When you got all them catches, don't get in the paint. That don't count.
That's it.
You got to get in the paint, all them catches, AC.
They started doubling. They started bracketing my boy.
Have you communicated with that getting in the paint mentality that you and Freddie Millens had to your wide receivers?
I tell my guys I talk about it all the time. You got to get in the paint. You got to get in the paint, because you get down there, you don't score, guess what? They're going to hand it off.
Mm-hmm.
I told them I had to deal with that all the time. I played with Sean Alexander. So anytime I pressed it, I had to make something shake.
Sean, if you're watching this is no shot to you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We knew where the ball was going, so we had to make sure we knew it was going to get 80% of the touches.
So I do have to ask you this. You know, you've been around our program for a long time, both as a player and you spent some time coaching. How are you bringing the Bama standard to Florida A&M?
Toughness.
Yeah.
Toughness. That's one thing. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You know, Coach Simmons, when he brought me in, is we discussed as far as doing my hiring process was the toughness of our guys, and that is a big part of why you play the game. At the end of the day, you're a football player, so toughness, that is the biggest piece that I think is important in my room, and that I want to make sure those guys understand that you have to be tough, and not just physically, mentally.
Right. Mentally,
you're gonna make mistakes. You may get your bell rung. You may drop a ball. Things gonna happen fast, but you have to be mentally tough to be able to overcome it and continue to just go and push and press. And then physically, you got to go in there and block some linebackers. You got to get dirty. You got to get nasty. You got to be a football player.
There's no question about that. And then when your players are, go ahead.
I saw where Steve was holding our next NIL deal with the Fair Life Milk. Appreciate that, Steve.
Yeah,
no problem, man.
New sponsor.
Yeah.
And AC, I know when it comes to big games and your players are going to be looking to you as far as how to guide them in those big game moments, you definitely have a lot to draw from. That incredible catch in the back of the end zone against Florida, that incredible game you had against Florida in part 2 in the SEC championship. But even as a coach, you were a lot of people don't realize this. You were part of that App State team that upset Michigan at the Big House in Ann Arbor. So what are you going to tell your players when it's your turn as coach to communicate to them they got this?
Man, I watched that Denver game last night, and after the game, I really wanted to see the post game, and I'm glad that I did. I usually sleep, but I stayed up, and I won't forget what Noka said. He said, "The work is done. We can go home now." And so that's what I want our guys to know, that it's going to take work. It's not going to be easy. And when the work is done, when the confetti come down, that's when we can go home. But we ain't going home. We locking the gates. We're going to do what we got to do every single day to get it done. We got work to do. And when we're done, we can go to the crib.
That sounds like when I was in prison. It's only 2 years, just 2 years, 2 years. Okay.
Well, folks, AC's got to run. Before we let him go on the panel here, do you guys have any more questions before we let this gentleman off?
Hey, man, no questions here. I just want to tell you, I'm very, very proud of you, man. And I know you're going to make things shake, man, because you're a hell of a motivator, man. And your actions have spoken louder than your words. And, hey, man, best of luck to you, and God bless you, brother.
Man, thank you so much.
I don't have a question, AC. I just have a thought, man. After this first year, try to get it into the contract that you can direct the band.
Man, I got enough stuff that I ain't worried about no band. We're going to strike up the band.
That's right.
We're going to strike up the band, offensively, but I ain't worried about leading them. But guys, thank you so much for having me. Again, it's always a blessing, always great to be on. And Steve, for you, failure is not fatal. Failure to change might be, buddy.
I like that.
I love
failure
that.
is not fatal. Let me see. That's right.
Failure is not fatal. Failure to change might be.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. Coach Mook, you have something to say before AC?
I was just telling them don't get comfortable at FAMU, man. Holman Wiggins gonna be a high commodity soon, so you know what I'm saying. You can come back to T-Town, in about 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying? Just keep that in mind. Don't say I ain't said something, but
I'll receive it. Now I ain't gonna turn down no blessings now.
Hey, and not only that, you forgot to tell them too. The Citizens Club gonna be back open too.
Hey man, nobody going to the CC, man.
Them hands got the rubber there. You see that?
Nobody going to the CC. Hey, one of my coaches was just talking about the J's, Steve.
The J's.
You remember the J too, huh?
Yeah. I got jumped down in the J plenty of times. I remember.
Me too.
I jumped on.
But man, I tell you again, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's always a blessing to be on, guys, and I wish you guys the best. You guys follow us, the Rattlers. We're gonna take care of business this year. It's gonna be fun. Again, man, we got a really good football team. great community, great culture, great support. So it's gonna be fun. Again, I'm excited. And man, again, for you guys, roll tide too.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
hey
Roll
man,
Tide.
hey, before you go, last but not least, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, AC, remember, you still an Alabama football player.
And no
Roll
doubt.
Yes,
Hey,
Tide.
sir.
that
Roll
Peace
don't
not
Tide.
change.
pie.
Roll tide. It's too much Bama in me.
All day,
Yes,
all day.
sir. We're proud of
All
you,
right, man.
brother.
You
Go do
guys
your
have a good
thing.
evening. Thank you.
Yes,
All right, brother.
sir.
Love you, brother.
Love you,
Love you,
man.
bro.
All right.
Man, excited to always have
That's
him.
big, man.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
did y'all hear what I told him last? I almost made myself cry.
Man, I saw that. That was a moment. Do you need a second
Yeah.
before we go to the
Go
next
ahead,
segment?
Justin. I'll just give me a second. Go ahead. Do your thing.
While
Keep
Steve
talking.
gathers himself, we're going to turn things over to Stephen M. Smith for his famous segment, The Death Chart.
All right, all right. We can do this now. We can do this now. We in the off season, and the off season edition of the depth chart. What's happening? Guys are starting. Guys are continuing their training with different guys, whether it be in Ty Simpson is in QB country in Nashville, getting some working with his pops, and also getting some working at UT Martin with his pops. Jalen Milroe is still in South Florida, and I'm telling you, he's got a chemistry with Malik Benson. Jalen Milroe's got a chemistry with Malik Benson. He's got a chemistry with Emmanuel Henderson, and he's got something going on with Kendrick Law. I mean, Milroe and Kendrick Law got something working in there too. And I'm just saying, if he comes back in here fall camp and just shows everybody that passing is just even more accurate than what he was doing in the spring, dude is dangerous. Isaiah Bond's been working his tail off this offseason, working with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tavon Austin, but it just seems like everywhere you turn, Justice Haynes is in a gym. He's on some type of field. He's doing some type of agility work, strength work, speed work. It's crazy, what these guys are doing, are putting in. And I was even watching a clip. They got Kevin Steele in the weight room putting on muscle. Like Kevin Steele is 65, hitting bench press and getting at guys. I'm like, Kevin Steele coming at folks.
So he's not going quietly into the night. He's still got one more round left in him.
I'm just saying, but the biggest thing here, Justin, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there was a clip, and I think Terrion Arnold posted to his TikTok, and it was Terrion Arnold, Jalen Milroe, Caleb Downs, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Jake Pope. They're all in the weight room getting after it, and just the energy on all of their faces, the excitement, the swagger, the energy. Like Jake Pope is coming in there, popping back and forth, dancing with them. Jalen Milroe's like, let's hit this and let's go. Kool-Aid McKinstry's ready. Like that type of camaraderie is what made Bama Bama. 2009, 11, 12, 2015, 17, 2020, those championship teams there. You're starting to see that energy, that type of camaraderie in the offseason back with this group right here.
You know something, man? I want to interject this too. I believe what Jalen Milroe is doing right now, his summer going into the fall, is going to win him that job. I really believe that. Especially when you're getting chemistry with the guys on the team, and what you're doing when you're doing stuff like that on your own, you're taking them down to Florida and all this other stuff, man. Now they are playing harder for you because the chemistry's there, and they believe that you really, really want to win. Now, nothing against Ty Simpson where he's working out with his dad, but you're still not developing chemistry with the guys. And the guys, they know who they want to play for, and they're going to play harder for the person who they believe in, who they've gone to battle with, even on the off season. You're working out. You taking the guys to camp, and these guys are seeing this. You see what I'm saying? So that is a really big. I was listening to some guys on YouTube, and they were actually saying the same thing, that he's pulling away just by doing that. And then, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And Steve, I look at this. You look at the work that Jalen Milroe's putting in the summer and in the spring, it mirrors exactly what Blake Sims did in
Sims,
2014.
Yeah, to a T.
2014, Blake Sims did not have the best spring game. If y'all remember, he had 3 picks in the spring game, including the pick 6. And people wrote Blake Sims off and said, hey, this is Coker's team here. Blake went off to Texas in the summer. He went to Texas. He went to Florida. He went to California. I think he went to 3 to 4 places and took receivers with him, Amari Cooper in particular. And they worked and they trained and they developed and they grew. And then when Blake came back in August, completely different player.
Right.
And Lane Kiffin got with him. And Kiffin's like, Nick, we're going to roll with Blake Sims. And we saw what happened when Blake went to that offseason work. And Jalen Milroe is doing the exact same thing here.
What's not being mentioned, my fault.
No, go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
What's not being mentioned is also the communication amongst the whole offense. Being that Tommy Rees first year as the offensive coordinator, there's film sessions being sent out across the team messenger board that guys are actually getting together and studying, film from last season. How's this concept going to be applied here? What is my quarterback supposed to be? What am I supposed to be seeing at this time when my quarterback see this? And all these conversations being had surrounding the quarterback room. I think the no-brainer move is to start Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
The confidence behind this guy, even with his inability to be secure with the ball he knows how to win. He reminds me of a more dynamic Tebow. The guy just knows how to win. He knows how to go out there and make the plays to win. They might not be perfect. 70% of the plays going to be horrible, but them 30% of plays,
he's going to win.
The defense that we're going to have this season, we can afford a Jalen Milroe last season. You get what I'm saying? And then the statement you made about Kevin Steele and that video being circulated, man, that is big. Because you remember that's when Bama defense was like gritty going into when their position coaches, when that defensive coordinator was getting into their faces, was giving that same energy. Kevin Steele still bringing the energy, and he was 67, 60, 66, 68 years old. Something.
No. He's 103.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Smoke, I'm telling you. I was at the Saban golf tournament. Kevin Steele came out the front door of the old Overton Golf Club. Dude looked jacked. He came out on the golf course, hitting the 18 holes. I'm like, Kevin Steele looked like he could put on some pads and still play at 65.
Yeah, wow.
And I like this comment in this, Ephraim. You just made a perfect comment. I was going to say it. If Ty had shown up, I think that makes Jalen Milroe even better, though. You get what I'm saying? Because this thing was planned by Jalen Milroe before the end of spring.
Yeah.
Them guys, I remember, I think last year he had Ja'Cory Brooks in Florida with him. When Bryce went off the Manning passing camp or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe and Ja'Cory Brooks, and I think it was just those two in Florida. They had their little clip on Snapchat or TikTok, one of them. But man, it's just to see that growth in Jalen Milroe, man. I'm confident in whoever steps up. Honestly,
hey, Coach, you know what? I'm gonna say this too, man. I've also been on like the Bama fans pages on social media, and now guess what's happening? The fans are starting to tilt towards Jalen Milroe. They don't want, of course we got some good old boy fans. They don't want to admit it, but they're starting to tilt because they're seeing his work ethic. They're seeing his work ethic. And that's what it is.
I think the one thing, if I was Milroe, he'll probably do this or probably won't. But I would love to see him make a phone call this offseason to Jalen Hurts and kind of have that conversation with him, like, bruh, how did you handle it? What did you do? What made you better? Or pick up the phone, call Blake, when you went through your time, what motivation did you take? What advice can you give me? And write all that stuff down. Like, I would have a conversation with Blake Sims and Jalen Hurts before the summer is over.
Personally, I think he's already done it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. The pen is up.
Oh, I agree. And I would definitely want to retouch this next week. We got our top fan segment coming up just moments away. But before that, Stephen, one of the things that you want to address was the impact of Tony Mitchell's return this season, and which is going to also help, segue into one of the points I wanted to make. It's funny that y'all talk about message boards and how the fans react, and because to see some of the reactions from fans is just really got me frustrated. But Stephen, I'll let you start with the positive, and then we'll kind of touch on what I'm talking about right after that. So if you could go ahead, sir.
I mean, this is good. And, we've seen Coach Saban several times give young men a second chance, not being one to throw away, a young man in his career, especially when that young man is very remorseful and understands, I messed this up. I almost had it taken away from me, but now that I have it back, I'm going to do everything I can to do right by it. I mean, if y'all saw the video, Tony Mitchell was crying, as it all happened. And then when he spoke to the Southern Express team with Byron Diviner, just the look on his face, knowing that, hey, I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna make this right, and I'm gonna get this right. And this allows Coach Saban to not only channel him in a positive way, but this allows Tony Mitchell to fully be, all 10 toes down and come after what he wants to come after. Because if you think about it here, he didn't have the spring that maybe a King of Downs had. But Tony Mitchell is 6'2", 205. The physical tools are there.
212.
212 now? Okay,
yes.
So the physical tools are there. The physical tools, the size, that's all there. This is a young man that played corner and safety at Thompson High School that won, 3 to 4 state titles?
Yes.
So I'm just saying.
Where's he from?
He's from
Thompson High School.
In Alabaster, Thompson High School.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm saying the tools are there for Tony Mitchell. The question is going to be, once fall camp starts, how much of that playbook does he grab instantly? Because it depends on how much that playbook does he grab instantly in fall.
Steven,
yeah.
What's good about him being a safety is we know Alabama, if you're going to start a freshman in Alabama's defense, that's why Caleb Downs has solidified himself at one of those slots.
Yeah.
The concept, and I believe Thompson runs a complex defense at the high school level. I don't think they run it to the level. I don't know high school runs it to the level of Alabama. But to have that mental side of it already pre-trained, and to know that he's a big dog backed in the corner, y'all know you don't back no pit bull in the corner. A pit bull that have to fight for his life, that's the worst pit bull you want to meet. And that's what I see with my boy Mitchell. I'm telling you, and to know that he had the pressure from the city behind him, from the state behind him. And then to have that slip up, and then to have the support of his family in the midst of the Alabama nation just throwing him away. This guy know he got something to prove, man, and that's a scary player to deal with. I think he's a more disciplined Tony Brown, more disciplined, more athletic,
That's a good point.
And more sane.
Sane, yes.
and Smoke, you brought up a good point, because remember when they had sent Tony Brown home before the Cotton Bowl in 2015, and the players did. The players,
yes.
Did. And when they brought Tony Brown back, that's when you saw Tony become that passionate leader, walking through the opposing team's lineup, scaring folks with no shirt on. That's the Tony Brown that was brought back.
Before I bring up what I'm going to bring up, Steve, let me ask you a question, because this is going to tie into everything. How do you define grace?
How do you define grace?
Steve Brown.
Go ahead.
Grace is first of all, you gotta take the judgmental aspect out of it. And you got to look at it in a way of, what if this was my kid or somebody, or what if it was me? What I want a second chance to prove myself. And to me, that's a great question, man. And it's just so many ways you can really just define grace and show grace to people. And I just see with some of our fans, we don't do that. That's just what it is in this society now. Nobody wants to give anybody grace. Everybody's sensitive. It seems like to me, people are now more entertained by seeing people crash and burn than to succeed. And that's just what it is, man. But I'm glad that we have a coach who gives grace to players who he feels deserve it, and he got his teammates and people around him that really care about him. because you got to understand something. And Nick Saban said this about another kid. Okay, what about another player that got in trouble, I think a couple of years ago? What about didn't give him grace? Where would he be? Where would he be? You know, and honestly, this Mitchell kid, you got to look at his background too. We don't know if he came from a poor family and he was taking that risk to try to put food on the table. We don't know that. All we know is he got in trouble and Coach Saban gave him grace. And that's what we need to be celebrating. Hey, we got a player. He's a talented guy. He's a good kid. Let's give him a second chance. Let's roll with it. Nothing else should be said about it.
I agree. And getting on our message boards or even in our comment sections on our channel is just amazing. The mentality of a judgmental society. We're supposed to be one of the proudest, most supportive and loving fan bases there are, but every day I come across people that prove that we're not. One of the comments came a couple of days ago from a clip that we did from Coach Smoot's show, and it went like this: lock up that thug, bad luck for the university. And it amazes me how loosely the term thug is thrown out these days. And
Justin, I'm sorry.
Can I,
Justin, you and I have had this talk before. Okay, let's just go there. And people, I said this before on this show, and I'm gonna say it again. People don't hate the Alabama football team. They love the Crimson Tide. They love the tradition. Everybody wants to be us. They hate our fans because our fans, they don't see our players as players. They see them as them and them. When it all comes down to it, we have a racist fan base. That's just what it is. And that's one of the reasons why everybody's so up in arms about that quarterback situation and more. When the guy, what's his name, that was involved in the shooting, that come to find out he really wasn't. I think when he graduated, when his last game, he didn't do so well. I looked up on the message board. They're calling him a thug. He's this, he's that. Go to the NBA with the rest of those thugs. You know the NBA is predominantly black, but they're rich black men, but they're still being called thugs by our fan base. And it's just crazy. So me, and Justin, I was really frustrated that day. And honestly, it's like, man, I love everybody. Let's just let our kids play football and do what Alabama football does best. Bring us together and let's cheer for one team, no matter what the color is. And that's what it is. Because honestly, man, on a Saturday, Justin, y'all know this, on a Saturday at Brian Denny, all you got to do is say roll tide. You can get anything you want. But as soon as the game is over,
if we lose,
they don't want to be bothered with you. And that's just what it is. So it's frustrating, but the thing is with that, we just got to keep on keeping on and still showing that Bama standard love. And that's what it is.
I agree. And I realize that's not the mentality of the entire fan base as a whole, but it really infuriates me because the same people who say that will be lined up at Walmart at the autograph booth, getting autographs from the very guy that they chastise. And the Saban doesn't throw away people. I guess by that mentality, God shouldn't forgive sinners because it's a bad look for heaven, right? But it just blows me away.
That
and
would be very
I'm
interesting, Justin, for a T-shirt. That would be very interesting, Justin, for a T-shirt.
But I see this guy who truly has repented from what he did. And listen, we've all made mistakes. Man, we've all done stupid things as college kids. We hadn't gotten caught, nor are we on the platform that this young man is to have it magnified. This kid is going to make good use of his second chance. There's nothing quite like watching a player whose back's against the wall because he's on his last chance. He knows that he doesn't have room for error. So what does that make him, guys? Very dangerous. He's about to ball out.
And you know something else too, man? People don't forget how the people don't forget how you made them feel. People will never forget that. A Jalen Hurts, he's not going to forget how the Alabama football fans made him feel. Tua is not going to make Blake. He's not going to forget that. He's going to move on with life. But at the end of the day, people will always remember how you made them feel.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. It was, and I know from personal experience, Markel Benton. when he had to leave the University of Alabama, he was going through a lot. You know, he never stood up. You know, he never lived up to the hype coming out of Phoenix City, and the type of energy that was coming back to it. Yes, he lazy, but the guy had stuff going on. You know, he let him be lazy, but don't dog him. Don't turn him away because he didn't succeed as a football player. He's still a human being. He's still a young man. He has a child, you know, and people always, we judge people based off our selfish needs or our selfish values. You get what I'm saying? And somebody in the comments, Kenny Hemlock said that he said he's in Tennessee. I see it across every fan base. I don't necessarily think it's just racism that's involved. I think it's more so of a thing for our fan base. We know it's predominantly that. Look at where we at. We in the South. You go to Georgia, they do the same thing to their quarterbacks or players. You know, one week DeAndre Baker's the top corner. He's the best corner in the league. Have a bad game, get in a little trouble. Now he a thug. You know, they do it in the South. That's a Southern mentality. You got players in USC messing up. You don't ever see that. You know, that crazy race stuff going on. It'd be like crazy trolling, you know, making picks and stuff. But like as a society, you know, as a fan base, it's got to be people like us on the platform, on these podcasts that's addressing these issues straight up and letting people know, hey, we don't have to have 1,000 people, you know, 1,000 famous people saying things. It could start with the little guys. It could start with people like us, the fans. You know,
like y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like me.
Yeah,
like y'all. Like y'all.
Not like the star. The star.
But Tony Mitchell is one of those guys to talk about his background. To just know the little bit that I know, he come from a God-fearing family, you know, and he just made a bad decision. I'm a preacher's son. I made plenty of bad decisions. I got 6 kids. Right, you get what I'm saying? I made bad decisions. I'm in my second marriage and I'm 33. You get what I'm saying? I made a bad decision. I've made multiple bad decisions, but if it wasn't for God's grace or grace from my family, grace from my people, that loved ones that I hurt in the midst of my, you know, emotional decisions or immature decisions, like I wouldn't have nothing. I wouldn't be here today. I would have lost my mind. So we got to think about that. Like you said, Steve, you got to think about that before you start judging people. Like, what if it was me? Like, I've been in the car where drugs was present. You know, I could have got pulled over too. You know, and that could have been me. Would I have got the same reaction from no, because I'm nobody. But it's happening to other people. Why he got to be a thug? You know. Well, Justin,
let me say this, man. I got a confession. I went in Walmart and ate them folks grapes like they mine, but it's okay.
Me too.
Grace. So but that was a great question, man. Thank you for asking.
No problem. Oh, okay. Well, that segment is now over. It's time to turn things over to the fans. And what does that mean? The Bama Standard Top Fan segment. It's where every week we take one of the top fans who've been supporting us for a long time, whether it's been in the chat, whether it's been in the comment section, sharing things, just being active. And we give the show back to them. And this week's winner is none other than the famous Jimmy Clay. Welcome in, sir. You have been one of the most active, strongest supporters that we've had, that Stephen M. Smith's had, and
man, Clay,
the entire Bama fan
What's
base.
Up,
I know.
fellas?
What's going on?
Roll Tide.
Welcome in. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy? Welcome to my show.
Well, appreciate it. Appreciate it. What's up, Senador?
What's going on, Jimmy? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing just fine. Stephen M. Smith, a legend. What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. I'm hurt. I'm hurt for Team 27, man. I hurt for Montana. You know, I wanted her to go out a national champion. It didn't happen, but hopefully Coach Murph gets some good girls in here.
Amen, man. Amen. That's a special team. Very special team.
Yes, sir. And hey, this is probably one of the biggest supporters of Alabama softball there ever was. And if anybody wants to question that, go straight to his Facebook page and check out all the photos, all the posts. Man, they couldn't get through it without you, brother. So we definitely salute what you do for those young ladies. But hey, this is about you right now. We're going to turn the mic over to you because we allow the fans to ask the question in this segment. What question do you have for our panel tonight?
All right. Besides the quarterback, which position will have the biggest impact in order to have a successful season this coming year?
Steve Brown, you start things off, and then we go to Coach Smoot, Stephen Smith, and then I'll finish it up.
Besides quarterback, I think, and I think it's more important than the quarterback, the offensive line. As the offensive line goes, we're going to go because I feel like our offense is going to be run happy, and I feel like we did really well in recruiting. We got some great guys coming back, and I think they are ready to maul some people. So I would say the offensive line.
Awesome.
Good pick. Go ahead, Coach.
Great pick. Just because you took my answer, I'm going to be different. And I'm tired of you reading my notes. Okay, Steve? All right. But he said offensive line. I was going to go with offensive line, but the linebacker group as a whole, the amount of talent and the depth that we have, their success and ability to be able to play coverage and get pressure on the quarterback, especially up the middle. We know edge pressure is going to be there, but if we can get Marshall, Lawson, Campbell, Blackshire busting holes in the middle, linebackers gotta bring it. And yeah, if they can bring it, I think the rest of the defense is solidified. Secondary, the defensive line, 9-man rotation up front, like we're good. Linebacker group. That's who I'm gonna go with.
Stephen and Smith, what you got, brother?
I guess for me, flipping back to the offense, the wide receiver room. All of these guys have got to catch the football this year. You're breaking in a brand new quarterback. You got to give that man confidence by catching the football, bring the ball in. You can't have the drops that you had the last couple of years. The ball hits your hands, you got to catch that. That's Jermaine Burton. That's Kobe Prentice. That's everybody.
That's Jermaine Burton.
Yeah, Jermaine Burton. You got
JB.
You got to catch the football. So if these wide receivers can catch this football, get up and down this field, add more confidence to that quarterback position, then this offense under Tommy Rees can really, really be something. So I would say the wide receiver room.
No, the wide receiver, Burton. That's it. Yeah, Burton. That's the damn ball, Burton.
That's Coach Smoot's favorite player, actually.
Yeah, stop slapping folks and catch the damn ball.
Yeah. My favorite receiver ever. I think Jermaine Burton. Honestly, Jermaine Burton, if I had to pick, like, put my top 5, I'm just playing. Let me stop. My stomach started hurting when I started.
I tell you what, speaking of grace, his grace is over. You get one more problem, you out of there, brother.
One, Steve.
One. You out of there.
One drop. I don't care.
You out of there.
Contested, thrown behind you, underthrown.
If it's thrown out of bounds. If it's thrown out of bounds.
You better go catch
it. If he drops the water bottle.
You out of there.
He better not drop his helmet. Trying to tie it. He better keep it.
Hell no. And then I'll be the rest of them. You damn thug. You out of there.
In the locker room. Get out of here. You graduated last year. You need to be going anyways. God.
Been there.
So Justin, you never answered your part.
Oh, I am. I'm ready. To me, and I don't mind copying Steve Brown, and I'll add to that the offensive and defensive line. I think the offensive success is predicated on how well we dominate the trenches. Just look at Tommy Rees's offense and the layers he has behind it. A lot of his offense is based on an elite running game and a great tight end group. Well, you can't really get them going if you don't have the big uglies up front making things happen. And then we have a new quarterback, or new to the starting position quarterback. You got to protect the guy. You got to make that transition for him very easy before fans you start jumping on his case and wondering why he's not as successful as you hoping to be, and why he's not Bryce Young's second coming. And don't do that. I'm going to tell y'all right now, don't do that. Defensive line. We have a great secondary, guys. We won't be able to see how great that secondary and the linebacking group, like Coach Smoot mentioned, can be unless that defensive line is wrecking shop or they're plugging holes, doing their job. And that's been absent. But now we got a dog in Kevin Steele who can teach them how to be a dog. That's just plain and simple. So the front on both sides, to me, is the most pivotal positions. And the other positions mentioned, they'll work themselves out, but that's where it starts and stops.
Yeah. And to your comment, Justin, the trenches, man, it wasn't necessarily them guys not being able to wreck shop, because when they were placed in position to do so, they did. And Mark,
Jermaine Burton, read this. Better not even drop the soap.
better not drop the
This ain't Shawshank.
He wasn't ready.
But man, yes. So Jimmy, how did we answer your question, man? Do you feel confident coming away from that, or do we need to jump in a little bit further?
Jimmy, you got one more question in you. You got one more.
Give us one more.
2016, that was a nastiest defense to me. That's what we need now. 2016.
Yes.
All right. You got one more question for us? We usually give just one, but since you're one of our biggest fans, we can give you one more.
I can't think of anything, man. My mind is blank. I had to write down the other question because I was going to forget it.
That's all right. Well,
All right,
hey,
where's Marvin coming back? Where's all Marvin coming back? That's my question.
never. By the way, we got a question for you. Do you want to replace him?
Nah, he's all good. Y'all all entertaining, man. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
let me ask you this before
I
I
was
let
going to
you
ask
go.
him one.
And Coach Mook, you can ask him as well. What's your
Oh,
favorite
boy.
Alabama game? What's your favorite Alabama game ever?
About football?
Yeah, football.
That's a hard question.
When we won the national championship in 2017, Tua Tagovailoa,
Second and 26.
Devontae Smith. That was what, second and 26?
Yes.
Yep.
That was my favorite.
Hey, Jimmy, you want to know what my favorite Alabama game was?
What's that?
Every national championship.
How about that too? Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take it all day long.
That's a
And
good one to end
my
on there.
favorite game is when they took Henry To'oTo'o out of the game. How's that sound?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's that.
He's perfect. He's perfect for this show, Steve.
I'm sorry. He's pitiful.
Hey, Jimmy, we're going to find you for saying that name. This is a new chapter, Sonny. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that on this show. That you might as well just cuss everyone.
Okay, I just had to get that out, man.
He's been hanging out with Marvin too long. He's been hanging out with Marvin. But you know what, Jim? Hey, you know what? But Jimmy seems to know his football. You know what he's talking about, though.
Jimmy been talking football since I've been following these shows, man. Like, and that's why anytime he gets on the phone, I love Jimmy's interactions, and he brings great questions, man. I'm telling you, I appreciate you for being on, Jimmy, for real, man.
Yeah, we definitely
appreciate you, Senador. You're always full of knowledge too, man. I like to listen to you. I like to listen to all of you.
Coach, did you have a question?
It's a privilege to be here.
I'm good. That best game ever was a good one. It made me go back and.
Jimmy, before you go, though, just remember, I'm the star of the show. That's it.
That's it. Nothing more.
That's it.
But Jimmy, man,
yes,
we greatly appreciate you being on. It is definitely an honor to have you as a fan, because you're one of our biggest supporters. You've been with us since the very beginning when we weren't quite so popular and we were, struggling and paying our dues. And man, we greatly appreciate you, and couldn't do it without you, man. Thank you again for jumping on with us.
You're welcome. I'll try to be on more as we go. I'll try to be on your show more too, Stephen.
All right, you the man, Jimmy. You
Hey,
are
man,
the man.
as a matter of fact, Jimmy, you made history. You're the first guest that we've had after we fired Marvin. Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
Special occasions. We appreciate it. But yeah,
I'll be glad to come back on anytime, fellas. I appreciate you.
Be ready during football season, buddy.
You bet. We're going to
roll tide, Jimmy. Roll tide.
Jimmy.
Roll tide. Take
Roll
care.
tide, baby.
I think that's Marvin's replacement. Yeah.
Easily. Man.
Bro, I'm not saying that. Uncle Marvin not coming back with he not bringing no smoke back my way. I'm not saying nothing.
Man,
I'm
so
saving it for the
glad.
season.
I'm so glad Craigslist sent us that applicant.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Craigslist. Oh, wow.
All right, guys, we've come towards the end of the show. As we always do, we like to have in our closing segment an opportunity for you guys to pop what you have. We're going to let the star of the show begin things for us. Steve, what you got coming up? How can fans get a hold of tickets to your events? How can they find you on social media?
Actually, man, I have my monthly comedy show happening this Thursday in Atlanta. The Make You Laugh monthly comedy show for the grown and sexy. Pretty much is already sold out. But I'm just happy about that. Also, you can check my new website out, SteveBrownComedy.com. My fan page on Facebook, Comedian Steve Brown, and me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown. Not only that, listen, since my guy's not here, I know this sounds strange. Y'all make sure y'all go and support my guy Marvin Constant's book. Support everything he got going on. I think it's 40 strong, right? Is that right?
40 plus strong.
40 plus strong. So y'all make sure y'all support that brother, man. He's doing wonderful things. And right now, I mean, his work is paying off. He's somewhere around here in Georgia, like he's out of town, but he's really here in town. He's naked. Yeah, he's naked in Georgia. He's gonna get his black self arrested. He's naked. Yeah. So yeah.
You forgot your OnlyFans. How can they find you on OnlyFans?
Oh my God, I knew it.
Oh yeah. Make sure y'all check that out. Also, before I get out of here, Smoot, let me tell you something. You're not gonna be legitimized on this show unless you say something negative about Marvin, and I'm waiting.
You missed it last season. Me and Marvin had it out last season.
This season though, I didn't see it.
But this is now. This is that's the past.
I got you next time, man.
Bama fans always living in the past.
Yeah, I know.
Always living in the past. 15 years of Diamonds just ugh.
Well, Coach Smoot, if you would tell folks how they can find you on all social media, and then also about your show that comes up right here on this channel an hour from now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, guys, it's always a pleasure when I'm able to come on the Bama Standard. Man, Steve always acting up. Steven always with the news. Justin always the mediator with the button kicking people. You know, it's always fun, man. So I'm happy. And then to have AC on tonight, man. Like, for real, whenever I get to talk to guys like AC or Mike McCoy, like, that's big for me. Those are guys I looked up to. So I count it an honor and privilege. But you all can find me on all social media platforms at Coach Smoot, man. I do a little gaming content. I do comedy. I do the funny TikTok trends. I'm doing it all. And of course, when the Bama Standard has some news to release, I'll get out there and put out a short every now and then especially on the offensive guys and specialty guys. So yeah, just continue to check us out. And then, like Justin said, the final whistle, man, the cast is gonna go crazy tonight. I'm telling y'all. It might get crazy, y'all. I got the flag ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go do some push-ups so I can look swole in my referee shirt. You know what I'm saying? And then it's gonna be on. So I appreciate y'all again. Roll Tide, chat.
All right, Stephen M. Smith. Wait, first, Jimmy Clay was just on our show, but he is donated $27 in a super chat. Thank you so much, brother. We greatly appreciate it.
You can go and cash at me. Go and cash at me my $3 out of that.
Most definitely.
I want my cut. Yeah, get my cut now.
Actually, we're going to use that to find Marvin some shirts that fit instead of these Hall.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Not the baby T-shirt, not the extra medium.
Stephen M. Smith.
Well, before I pop mine in, Marvin told me to go ahead and pop his in for real. So the 40plusstrong.com, you got 3 different workouts for beginner, for intermediate, for pro. You can jot down all your results as you work out, trying to still hold in the role, physical and mental fitness, 40 plus. So there you go, Marvin. I popped it in there for you. But as far as me, as far as I'm concerned, you can check me out here in my own words. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, in my own words, TDA, YouTube. Tomorrow, we still having the conversation of whether it's guys in the NFL. I mean, does the New England Patriots do the Patriots get DeAndre Hopkins for Mac Jones? That's going to be a big conversation. D-Hop is in New England today visiting. He'll be there tomorrow. Will the Patriots let him walk out that door without offering him a contract? I hope not. I hope they get this man, put him with Mac Jones. Let's see what this thing can really do. But definitely talking more Bama football tomorrow.
Steve? Justin. So the one time I tried to be nice to Marvin and shout him out, he already had it planned to let somebody else do it. I really got to get his ass when he get back. I really do. And that's the one time I was being vulnerable and soft for Marvin Constant.
Took advantage of you.
They took advantage of me.
Man, you got to go to counseling for weeks for that.
He will not get grace when he get back.
At all. Rhett has a statement for you, Steve. Steve hanging on those poles like Hugh Freeze had his wallet out. And Jimmy Clay added, give you $5.
Give you $5.
Amen.
But folks, before we wrap things up, before we wrap things up, folks, I want to remind you, if you want to be a part of our Bama Standard Top Fan segment, it's real easy. Get active in this chat and then send us an email, thebamastandard@gmail.com. That's right, thebamastandard@gmail.com, and tell us why you are the top fan and why you should be on. And we'll have you on next week. I expect our inbox to be flooded. Remember, this is for you guys. It's your opportunity to talk to the star, Stephen Brown, and them. That's us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
David Ruffin and the Temptations.
Yeah. I'm going to get some of my partners I hang out with to hit the email address. Now, you're going to know it's them because a lot of the words going to be misspelled. But they're going to.
Just don't send it to the hookers again.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Steve Brown, and Coach Mook. Thank you for coming on in relief. Had a great time. That'll do it for us. The Bama Standard. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide, guys.